Hello everyone and welcome back. This is going to be obviously my first D2R video, which I'm excited to bring to you guys today. I will be covering off the lightning source, but first and foremost, just want to say, it's great that D2R is finally here. Honestly, I think there's some clear pros in that the graphics are awesome. I think nobody's really snubbing at the graphics. Some things just look amazing. I actually really love the look of Thunderstorm, the auras, all that kind of stuff. They look great. Also love the fact that there's just so many people playing Diablo again, which just, obviously the community, the atmosphere is at a decade-long high right now, so pretty good. I will say that I wish they did more from a quality of life standpoint. I think, obviously I was just recently playing Project Diablo 2. They did a great job with, just even the ability to stack runes and gems, the ability to filter game names. You can type in Bale and it only shows you Bale games. I still don't know why you have to swap from US server to EU server when PD2 obviously was just able to do that pretty seamlessly by using the description field in the game creation. So feels like there's some things that they, obviously this was a bit of a rushed release. Well, I felt like that anyway, and there's they just fixed the map bug, so there's a couple of things that I would have liked to see happen here, but this is what we got, and definitely still not disappointed. So, I'm going to follow my normal template for these types of videos. I'm going to go through the stats, the skills, the gear, the Merc, and a bit of gameplay at the end. I'll just talk quickly about the build. This is a lightning sorceress. I really don't recommend that you spec lightning until you do have an infinity. Until then, just stay Blizzard or whatever. You can pick a fire one, I guess, if you want. Blizzard is pretty good though. There's a lot of good MF areas that you can do, single element. You do high damage. You can help in party games, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely don't recommend trying out this build until you have infinity, but once you get the infinity, it is, I would say, far and away the strongest build that you can do as a sorceress, especially if you want to do all game content, rushes, bales, chaos, all that kind of stuff. There's really, I don't think there's a better option out there. So let's dive into the stats, and this is true for most characters, really in Diablo 2, if you're just coming back to the game. There's really three scenarios. One, it's this, where you just put enough strength to wear your gear and then dump the rest into vitality. The next one is enough strength to wear your gear, enough dexterity for max block, and the rest into vitality. And then kind of on the fringe is a couple energy shield builds. Sorceress only, obviously, where you dump maybe some into, well, obviously enough strength to wear your gear, maybe some into vitality, probably nothing, and the rest into energy shield. Energy shield, by the way, is actually, if you're watching my videos from PD2, energy shield is way better in D2R. You can get up to 95% absorb, and it's just very strong in this. So definitely recommend later in the ladder, once you really do need high lightning skills in order to pull off energy shield. But if you can get there, definitely recommend trying an energy shield build later in the ladder. If not for PvP, then for there's the Nova Source is still a great option for PVM. So let's just run through the skills. So on the cold tab, I like to put in one of the armors. Shiver armor is ideal. I've just done frozen because there's so many synergies for the lightning build that I just didn't want to spend the 3 points. I'm still only level 88, so maybe I'll do it later, but I'll probably move into shiver armor. The other option is you can get a CTA that is built in a staff that has shiver armor as a pre-buff. That's again kind of a further down the line suggestion. Always put 1 point in warmth, and then into the lightning tab, we're going to max lightning mastery, we're going to max chain lightning, nova, the rest into charge bolt. I always put 1 value point in thunderstorm. I mean 1600 damage. It's nothing to scoff at, and just looks really cool. And then obviously you have to put your points into telekinesis and teleport. So that basically covers off the skills. Now into the important part, which is obviously the gear. There's a couple of different variations that you can go. You know, early in the ladder, I have pretty good resists right now. I have pretty strong gear. I also have a torch, not a very good one, but I do have a torch, which obviously helps with my resist. Once you get an Annie, that also is going to help with your resistances. But if you are, you know, if you're struggling with resist, then I suggest you use the Hoto. The other option that stands out to me is a Shootas. Shootas does have obviously +3 source skills, still has 40 FCR, so you're not losing anything there, and it does have up to +20% lightning damage, which is pretty meaningful. I'm actually planning on swapping. My resists are in a spot where I could probably swap without much issue. The helmet is Griffins all day long. If you can't afford a Griffins, well, I mean, they're about the same price of a Shaco right now. But, you know, obviously the Griffins does have 25 faster cast rate. An important thing to call out for lightning builds. So if you play Cold Source, pretty much the faster cast rate frame that you need to hit is the 105 faster cast rate. For lightning, you need to hit 117. I'm currently sitting at 124. I'm a little bit inefficient with my build right now. I'll call that out later, but you know, I'll be running through all my gear and trying to give you alternatives and kind of best in slot options. So you do need to hit 117 faster cast rate for the lightning ability, which is obviously, you know, the Griffins is a huge help on your way there. Actually bought this on ID, rolled it. I'm pretty happy with the results, so you know, I'll socket it later with a facet, just not at that point yet. Wearing Maras or Maras, whatever you want to call it, as my amulet, you know, obviously +2 skills, +2 all skills, and that's a big distinction, right? Because eventually you do switch, you know, you get your CTA. The +2 all skills here, you know, as compared to using a Tal's Ami or some type of +2 source Ami with FCR on it, you know, obviously the +2 all skills is going to support calls to arms or call to arms battle orders. And you know, again, if you're coming from PD2, they actually kind of spoiled us in that they made all battle orders last for 300 seconds. Which obviously is 5 minutes. Now, battle orders, the duration of battle orders actually scales up as you level it. So, I mean, it's a bit annoying, to be honest, to buff yourself all the time. So anyway, +2 skills will help. You know, obviously, just battle orders is way better in D2R as well. It'll give you more life, more duration on your battle order, so you're not casting it as often, which is obviously a good option. Chains of Honor is, you know, super strong in D2R. 2 skills, 65 res, a bit of magic find, 8% DR. You know, you can't go wrong with this armor. It's just so good in about every way. Obviously, alternatives here. You know, you can wear Tal's armor. You can wear Skin of the Viper Magi is a good option. Again, you do need to hit 117 FCR. It's pretty easily achievable, but you know, if you need to wear a V Magi, then you know, obviously another good example. Spirit Monarch, and so this is where I say I'm a little bit inefficient. I could just, I'm currently wearing a 10 FCR ring that I don't need to be wearing. I could just roll this for 32 faster cast rate instead. Then I would hit my break point without wearing a faster cast rate ring. Something you know, for me to consider, but all told, the overwhelming theme here is you need to hit 117. How you do it is basically up to you, but you know, again, you know, we're playing D2R here. Spirit is just so good. 2 skills, bunch of faster cast rate, 55 faster hit recovery, more mana, tons of res. Like, it's just what an item. So obviously you need to be wearing this. There are alternatives, but I'm not going to suggest them because I just think that this is far and away the best item. I'm currently wearing Mage Fist. Could do Trang's Gloves here if you're struggling with cold resist. Trang's Gloves do give 40 cold resist. They also still give the 20 FCR, which is why I'm wearing the Mage Fist. This gives a bit of regen mana. It doesn't really help me all that much, but I could easily swap these with Trang's Gloves. And then, you know, I'm actually wearing T-Gods. I do like to do all content. So T-Gods obviously helps me with the lightning absorb. And again, if you're coming from PD2 to D2R, Absorb is back. Like, they really heavily nerfed Absorb in PD2. 20 Absorb from T-Gods. I think it was 5 or 10 in PD2. You can also get, Whisperings that have up to 20% or 20 Lightning Absorb as well. So Absorb is back. I wear this obviously because I do bail runs. I rush people all the time. So when I'm looking for Isuel, those gloams and the souls, obviously can hurt you pretty bad. So I like the T-Gods personally. But again, that's just for all content. The obvious choice here would be to wear a rack belt, obviously +1 skill, 20 FCR. Then I could actually dump my Mage Fist for something like Chance Guards if I wanted to. Again, you just need to hit that 117. I said I'm wearing a 10 FCR ring that I don't need to be wearing. The obvious choice here would be to wear an SOJ. And, common theme with Lightning Sorceresses, plus skills are just so valuable. So an SOJ here or a BK ring, if you're BK obviously, gives you quite a bit of life. So if you're lacking a bit of survivability, you could go with the BK ring instead of the SOJ. Either is going to be totally fine. Currently wearing a Nagel ring, Nagel, whatever, I don't know, I'm going to get roasted either way. So SOJ here or BK ring as well. And then obviously War Traps they're such a great option. You could go with Silk Weaves if you can't afford the War Traps. Obviously, you're not using War Traps for anything core, like it's not giving you FCR or anything, but it does give you 10 strength and a bunch of a bunch of magic find. They're just such a good boot overall. But alternatives, Sandstorm Treks are great. They give you obviously strength, vitality, huge poison resist. They do give you faster hit recovery as well. You could go with Water Walks, which give you a lot more faster run walks, 65 life. There's a number of options here. And then Silk Weave, again, it just gives you a bunch of mana after kill, which is nice. So, any of those are pretty good options. On Switch, Call to Arms, obviously 6BO is better. Battle Command, we don't really care about in D2R, whereas in PD2, cared a little more. I'm currently using a lidless on swap. I actually should, change this to a spirit. It would give me another plus all skill. Just, again, it's relatively early here. I'm just not at that point. And then, so obviously Torch, 2020 is perfect. So the better you can do there, obviously, is optimal. We're, again, D2R +3 skills again, just so solid. The Torch is just amazing. As many lightning skillers, obviously life would be ideal here, or FHR if you wanted to hit some type of breakpoint. I actually haven't really looked too much at this character tab. Does it tell me my FHR? It does. So I'm at 60, which is actually a good breakpoint to hit. I could go up to 86. If I were to get 2 of these lightning skiller GCs with 12 FHR, and then maybe some 5 FHR small charm, that would get me to the 86, which is obviously, that is like the kind of the primo breakpoint, but 60 is definitely not too bad either, and 55 of that is coming from my spirit. So if you're wearing spirit, it's just so good. So Torch, once Annies are available, obviously everybody's going to want an Annie, +1 skill, up to +20 all attributes, up to +20 all resist, just so sick. Small charms, obviously I have nothing good here. You could just go with lifers, you could go with life mana, you could just go with 7 magic find small charms. Those are great because this build, it really doesn't have all that much magic find. I'm also, I'm not trying to get much magic find either. I'm only sitting at 102. I obviously could be wearing a Geeds, I could have some small charms, there's definitely things that I could do to bolster my magic find a little bit, but I go clear speed over magic find all day, every day, and that's my process. So for my mercenary, I obviously have Infinity. Again, it's just so important to the lightning build. Don't recommend lightning without it, but if you have it, please respec lightning. It's so good, and we'll jump into some gameplay right after we do this mercenary. Currently wearing an Andariel's Visage. Honestly, it's pretty good. It gives, obviously, the mercenary enough strength. I bought a CV because it was the cheaper option. A Cryptic Axe would be nice. Giant Thresher's pretty nice as well. But, I got this pretty early, so I settled for a CV. It does have a 200 strength requirement. I needed the Andes to get there, gives plus 26 strength. And then for a bit of survivability, I went with Shaft Stop. Again, it's really early. I will upgrade this eventually to a Fortitude for my Mercenary, but Shaft Stop is so good in the interim. 60 life and 30% DR, can't complain with that. And, you know, obviously when you have the Infinity, the build really goes to crap if your Mercenary dies. So having your Mercenary survive is, you know, super, super important. Let's go do some gameplay. So I'll just show you, you know, what a Chaos run looks like for me. And, you know, they're relatively quick as you get up to 8 people in the game. You know, obviously it gets a little more challenging. I do tend to stick with the lightning ability, but you can obviously switch to chain lightning as well, especially in these player 1 games. You're definitely going to be fine using just lightning. As you see, you know, you do have to burn through a little bit of mana pots, especially, you know, you're getting your mana sucked a little bit from these Stormcasters, which is, you know, that's a thing. And yeah, sure, I'm playing a little poorly, but, you know, obviously I'm focused on talking to you guys, as well as I don't want to be spamming click as much as I normally would, because I know sometimes my my microphone picks it up a little bit. So kind of just casually playing through this, but as you can see, everything is dying tremendously fast. In normal circumstances, I would be using my lightning ability exclusively. Getting a bit of lag, and maybe from OBS. Anyway, it does quite a bit more damage. I'll actually pull up the damage tallies after this. This visor is refusing to be broken on his lightning immunity, but most of them do. Fortunately, Infinity is so high damage. You know, my Mercenary is doing 3,700, which is pretty good. So yeah, just to compare, and I'll open that. Lightning is 27k max, 6 to 27. Obviously, huge variance there, so the average is, you know, closer to, oh god, I'm not going to do math right now. 5 and 6 to 11 on 6 to 11 on chain lightning, so it does do significantly more damage, but you do kind of have to aim it. Really depends on, you know, how casually you want to play. Like, not to say that lightning is hard to aim at all, but you know, if you get some groups that they're not necessarily standing, you know, directly next to each other. You can switch to chain lightning, especially in player 1 game. Again, wouldn't recommend it as you go into player 8. Again, lightning, there's so much variance of the damage, you know, 6k on the minimum, up to 27k for me on the maximum right now. Obviously, huge spread there. So when you use chain lightning, and you know, sometimes it's just not enough damage really in some of those in some of the player 8 games. So definitely recommend, you know, swapping to lightning in player 8. You can also, you know, shift click it. The screen shake in this game is ridiculous. I don't know if that's lag or if that's how it is for everyone. Another thing in D2R is you can really static people down. You know, you can get them quite low and then finish them off. So I got my little essence there, which is great. Now we'll go just quickly into a Bale run. Again, this build is just so solid for all content. You know, Chaos Bale is kind of the hardest content you can do. I also do a lot of nil runs for destruction keys. And yeah, I mean, he can be pretty challenging as well. Obviously, with the corpse explosion, damn near one-shot you. I do believe that they actually fixed. One of my buddies told me that they fixed the map bug, which is a welcome thing for me, as I've been teleporting all of these Bale runs and rushing people and all that kind of stuff. And actually doing map runs with the map bug was terrible. So we got souls and we got dolls just in time for me to film. Okay, this is an empty throne room. Gotta love that. Yeah, so again, you know, for some of these early waves that are just going to fold over, you can definitely use chain lightning. You see that they die very quickly. But, you know, really, I can, with Infinity, I can solo rush people from through hell. Obviously, Infinity does break a lot of immunities. For the ones that it doesn't, you know, that's what the Mercenary is for. Again, he does quite a bit of damage, and you just want to tele-stomp, right? You just, if the unit's here, you just stomp your Merc on top of him. Sometimes he runs away a little bit. You just got to keep him focused, eye on the prize, and, sorry, I'll juve up my mercenary. But yeah, I mean, again, I think the strength of the build is on display here. It can do all content with relative ease. Again, it doesn't have the most magic find on the build, but you can definitely supplement with the small charms, or just being more efficient with faster cast rate. Again, you don't have to use Chains of Honor. Viper Magi is a pretty good, cheaper option. Still gives you res, gives you faster cast rate, which is just more flexibility for the rest of your gear. If you're getting your faster cast rate here, then you don't have to get it from your gloves, from your belts, from your rings. That's where it gives you some options to open up some slots for magic find. So if you do want to go for magic find, great. Again, I always prioritize speed. I am literally one day, guys, one day I will be filming a video for YouTube. I will be doing gameplay, and I will find a good item. That day has not happened yet, but we'll get there. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this little review. Again, this build is hugely successful in kind of mastering all content. You could definitely, if your gear is still a little bit lacking, you don't have CTA, you don't feel super comfortable doing all content, definitely recommend like Pindle, Shank, Eldritch. You can do these things without putting yourself in any danger. You know exactly where they are every time. Oops, wrong. Try to click off that. You can do this without putting yourself in any danger. Really, sometimes here there's archers and all that kind of stuff that might harm you, but honestly, I'm just doing a little last-ditch effort to try to find something good in my first D2R video, but anyway, not going to happen. Yeah, so anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you see the strength of the build on display. If you have any questions about the build, please, obviously just leave a comment for me down below. If you need some gear alternatives or whatever, I'm happy to help. So, yeah, cheers, guys, and hope you enjoy D2R.